Hello all you anime fans out there. Today, I'm doing a recap of Plunderer. Set in a post-apocalyptic world dominated by numbers, every human being has their worth measured by a special count imprinted somewhere on their bodies, and it could be absolutely anywhere on their body. This count defines any number related to an important aspect of their lives. However, if this count decreases to 0, the person will be dragged down into a place called the Abyss, and is said to be dead for all eternity. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hina is the name of the very first person we meet. She lives in a post-apocalyptic town called Osea, where everyone has numbers tattooed on their bodies. These numbers can mean anything about a person's life, like how many times they helped someone, or how many times they were cheated on or turned down by a girl, etc. Hina's mother was taken into the Abyss 5 years ago because her number dropped to 0. The last thing she said to her daughter was to find a man named the legendary Ace who would give her a glass orb with the number 10,000 on it. Hina is talking to her friends about the famous Ace when out of nowhere, a masked man scares her friends away. The man says his name is Lick. He seems to be a very strange and bizarre person. He starts to look at Hina's number, which was written on the inside of her thigh. He tries to get a closer look, so she kicks him and runs away. Lick goes after her, and then a girl named Nana comes to her aid. She seems to know who Lick is, because she tells him to go away. Hina goes to Nana's restaurant, where Nana serves her food and asks for her name. Hina has excellent handwriting, which impresses Nana. Nana then asks Hina where her parents are. Hina tells her that her mother was dragged into the ground and she didn't know why. Nana tells Hina that everyone in this city has a number on their body and that the numbers control their world from the moment they are born. They all have to get a number that will keep track of a certain thing about their lives. She tells Hina that her number, which is 77, is how many times people have told her that her food is good, and that the number will go down when they say it's bad. She asks Hina about her number, which is 441. Lick tries to get closer, so Nana throws him away, sending him flying into the trees. She then asks Hina what her number means, and Hina tells her that her mother told her that her number shows how far she has walked, and that it goes up by 1 every 100 kilometers. She tells her that she is always walking because she has spent her whole life looking for a guy called the legendary Ace. Nana tells her that there is one more important thing to know about the numbers. You can't disobey someone with a higher number than you. She tells her that it's kind of like a social standing, and that this is a very important rule to always remember. Some guards show up all of a sudden. One of them, named Sergeant Davy, has a number on his face with a star next to it. He tells Hina that he is the legendary Ace she has been looking for. She starts to cry because she's been waiting her whole life for this moment. The man who said he was the legendary Ace then took Hina and tried to get closer to her, but Hina stopped him by distracting him with the mysterious orb her mother gave her. When Hina pulled out the orb, everyone was stunned, and the guards all pulled out their swords. The sergeant also gets up and asks her to hand over the ball. When she refuses, the guy gets angry and warns Hina, but she tells him that because she has a higher count than him, he can't attack her and must follow her orders. So, he stops and listens to her commands. But right after, he tells Hina that he will wager on his stars against her and asks Hina for a duel. Hina must agree to the duel, or she will be sent straight to the Abyss. They have a fight, but since she isn't good at fighting, she gives up quickly, letting the sergeant win. The hands then come up from the ground and take Hina's number away, leaving her with only a 1. They pass the sergeant the number, which is added to the one he already has. Hina is confused and scared because he won the duel, and she doesn't know why the legendary Ace would do such a thing. Then he tells Hina he was lying the whole time and that he wasn't the real legendary Ace. He did this to trick Hina into giving him the orb, but just as he was about to get it, Lick shows up to save Hina. He shows the sergeant his number, which is -999, and challenges him to a star stake. The sergeant laughs and asks why the man would want to fight with someone who has a negative number. The sergeant is insulted that someone with such a low number would ask such a thing, so he attacks Lick. While they're fighting, his men tell the sergeant that he's fighting someone with a negative count, which isn't normal because a normal person would hit 0 and be taken into the Abyss right away. He realizes this all of a sudden and stops fighting to ask who he is. Then Lick pulls out his sword and shows Hina his second number, which is 5,700 with a star next to it. Hina realizes that he is the real legendary ace that her mother wanted her to find. The sergeant doesn't believe he's a real legendary ace and tells him he's lying, and that all the aces died out 300 years ago. All of the sergeant's guards believe that Lick must be a fake ace, so they start to attack him. Then Lick tells Hina to close her eyes, and he uses his super flash speed ability, which cracks the ground and knocks out the guards. The sergeant is shocked and can't believe he's going up against a real legendary ace. Hina's number was stolen by the sergeant, and Lick tells him to give it back. The sergeant tries one last time to beat Lick because he's known as the best swordsman in town, but Lick just dodges all of his moves like they're nothing. Nana was serving food to a customer while Lick was fighting the sergeant. The customer asked what the noise was, and Nana told him it was the legendary ace. She tells him that a legendary ace has two numbers. Lick's blade has the number 5700, which is the number of enemies he has killed in battle. The number -999 on his hand is the number of times women have turned him down. She goes on to say that the legendary aces came into being about 300 years ago to fight in a battle called the Waste War. They were marked with bright white stars and had abilities far beyond those of any normal human warrior. The hands from the abyss come out of the ground and take the sergeant's number. They give it to Hina, which makes her very happy. But right after that, Lick takes the orb her mother gave her and tells her he can sell it for a lot of money. He told her that this orb is a ballad, which is an artifact that can be used to make someone stronger. She asks him why he would do that to her, and he says that maybe he's not the legendary ace she's looking for, because there are other people who are also known as aces. He puts a doll on the floor and tells her that in exchange for the orb, he will give her this. Then he leaves Hina behind and flies away. So, a sad Hina walks back to the village, where she runs into Nana at the restaurant. She starts crying and tells her that she can't believe the legendary ace would do something like this. Then Nana told her to open the doll that Lick had given her. To her surprise, the ballot was inside the doll. Nana told Hina that Lick stole the ballot from her to keep her from breaking the law, which says that you can't own one. If she had, she would have been considered a criminal by the law and the guards would have gone looking for her. Lick knew she wouldn't last long if he didn't act like he took it, so he quickly put it in Hina's doll so she would find it eventually. When she found out what he really wanted to do, she ran after him as fast as she could before he left the city. She called his name, but it was too late because he was already too far away. Then she starts to cry and tells him he's a liar and that she hates him. At this moment, Lick's number goes from -999 to -1000. After a few days, we meet two other people, Sergeant Lin and Sergeant Peel, who are looking for the legendary ace because he is wanted by the police. Lin is a girl who sometimes makes mistakes. Her number shows how many times she's helped other people, so she's always trying to help as many people as she can. She usually helps people in need, but her partner Peel has told her that the most important thing right now is a criminal named Lick who is still on the loose. According to the description, the legendary ace will probably hide himself with a strange mask. A short time later, they were walking around town when they saw Lick, who was dressed up as a dessert and wore a strange mask. Lin walks up to Lick and tells him she knows who he is. Lick says the face on the poster isn't him, and he proves it by telling Lin that the mask he's wearing is nothing like the one on the poster. He then tells her that he wears a mask because he's been rejected by 1,000 women and can't bear to look another woman in the eyes. So, Peel tells Lin that this is a chance for her to increase her number by going on a date with Lick. So, they spend the day together holding hands and eating, and the more Lick enjoys himself, the more Lin's number will go up. Then, all of a sudden, Peel stops the date and tells Lin that the guy with them is definitely the legendary ace because the number on his hand is -1000 and a normal person can't be in the minus numbers because once they reach 0, they will be sent to the abyss. When Lin figures this out, Lick takes off his mask, which shows that he is the man on the poster. So, she starts kicking Lick, but he easily avoids all of her moves and runs away quickly. Later, Hina is talking to Nana and tells her that she wants to go look for Lick. At that moment, a man walks into the room. He is from Osea and is a lieutenant in the Royal Guards. His name is Jail Murdoch. He told Nana that if she didn't tell him where Lick was, they would be arrested. Nana told him that Lick had gone east, so the troops started looking for the legendary ace. Soon, the lieutenant found Lick and tried to catch him, but he got away and started fighting all the guards. By using his skills, It's clear that Lick wins the fight pretty easily. Then, after the lieutenant tells his men to stop, he asks Lin to explain to everyone what a ballot holder is and why they want him arrested. She tells them that a ballot is a ball with an illegal count, and people who hold a ballot can get special powers. For example, the lieutenant is a ballot holder who can manipulate iron, so he can make iron spikes and structures to use to his advantage in battle. But the ballot's power depends on how many votes are on your body right now. Lick says that Jail's vote count is only 900, while his is at 5,700, so it wouldn't be smart to fight him. But Jail doesn't care and uses his iron abilities to attack Lick. When Lick saw how powerful Jail was, he tried to confuse him with his super speed and get away. But Jail also teleported into the sky and attacks Lick with a huge iron tower. After knocking Lick down, Jail takes off his fake count on his hand, showing that his real number is actually 12,500. Wow, well, that was a shock. Then there is a very big battle. Both of them have abilities that are very strong. Jail uses this chance to show how strong he really is, but after their huge fight, Lick gets away. Hina says she has been looking for him everywhere when she sees him walking through the meadows while wearing a bird mask. While they were talking on the field, out of nowhere, a bird-shaped object flies by. They both see that it's a girl flying the bird, but things go wrong and she almost crashes into the cliffs. Luckily, Lick saves her just in time by using his flying ability, and the girl's dream comes true because she's always wanted to be able to fly. She asks Lick how he could fly, and he tells her that he can't fly, but he can jump higher than most other people. She tells Lick and Hina that her name is Palmel and that she has spent her whole life trying to fly. After Lick tells her that it is against the law for an Ulcian to try to fly, Palmel tells Lick that she doesn't care about the law and wants to follow her dreams because they are more important to her than anything else. She finishes the final design for her next flying machine and asks Lick and Hina if they want to try it out. But just as they are about to take off, they see the royal guards coming toward them, so Lick quickly breaks the machine to keep the guards from seeing it, saving Palmel in the process. When the guards leave, Lick and Hina offer to help Palmel build another flying machine, but she says it's too late. Her count goes from 1 to 0 and she falls into the abyss. As she was being pulled into the abyss, she said that her count is based on her dream coming true, but since she had failed to fly again, her count had reached 0. They both try to save her, but the hands keep them from doing so. Lick then tries to cut the hands, but it only hurts himself and she still falls into the abyss. After some time, Lick and Hina are still together. They are walking through the town markets when they meet Lin. She goes up to Lick and thanks him for saving her when she fell off the mountain, but then she tries to arrest him. Lick tries to get away, but the lieutenant comes soon after, and they start fighting in the streets. Nana finally stops them and tells them they can't fight in town because they'll end up destroying the whole neighborhood. After the battle, the lieutenant heard that a town was under attack, so he went to see what was going on. To his surprise, the whole town had been destroyed. As Survivor tells Jail what happened here, he says that the town's lake turned into a swirling pit of darkness, and that a demon rose from the lake and started attacking the city. When they heard a noise coming from the hole, they all got ready to fight the demon. However, what they thought was a demon attacking the town was actually a modern military helicopter. They are all trying to figure out what it is and how to stop it because this helicopter is a vehicle from another time. Everyone is safe behind Jail's iron wall, and Lick tells everyone in town to run. Then he starts to attack the helicopter, but to his surprise, hands from the abyss start to grow out of the ground and help the helicopter. They all seem to be going after Lick because he cut off the hands when he was trying to save Palmel. This makes them see him as a threat, so now they think of him as a foe. The hands realize that the chopper is also the real threat. They try to take it down, but they can't reach it, and whenever Lick tries to get close to it, they block him. The lieutenant tells Hina that he can't help him because attacking the hands of the abyss is against the rules, and he would be sent right away to the abyss. We can see that Lick is having a hard time fighting the hands in the helicopter, so the lieutenant finally gives in and decides to help him. When they beat the helicopter, a girl named Sanohara comes out of the abyss and calls Lick her commander. Lieutenant Jail asks Sanohara who she is, but she shoots him right away and hurts him badly. Hina is shocked and asks who she is. She says she is another one of the legendary aces and that Lick was her commander a long time ago and told her to kill people, so she still does what he tells her to do. Lick tells her it's wrong and tries to stop her, but she tells him she has a power that lets her move the bullets in any direction she wants. The bullets sneak up behind him and he falls to the ground. After he falls, Sanohara's soldiers come and hold them all hostage while Lick is still on the ground. When he finally gets up, Sanohara begs Lick to turn back into the real Plunderer, but Lick refuses and tells her to let them all go. She tells him that he can't have what he wants and that if he doesn't turn around, she will kill them all. Before she kills them, Lick kills all the guards in less than a millisecond, tells everyone his real name is the Plunderer, and saves all his friends. Sanohara is excited to see the real legendary ace, and in a star stake, they bet on their stars. Lick's count is only 5,700, while Sanohara's is 32,000. This makes Sanohara the far stronger opponent, but Peel knows about the legends of aces and their true power, so he tells everyone that Lick is hiding his true power. At this point, Lick becomes the real legendary ace and changes into a crazy demon-like creature whose only goal is to kill all of his enemies. We see that the number on his sword goes all the way up to 57,000. After Lick easily beats Sanohara in the duel, just as he's about to kill her with his last blow, the lieutenant steps in and saves her. At this point, Lick has completely lost his mind and seems to think that everyone around him is his enemy. He starts to use all of his power to fight Lieutenant Jail, but Lieutenant Jail surprises him by using his iron ability to unleash his full maximum strength and create an iron demon monster that he can control to fight Lick while he's in the legendary ace form. Lick is knocked out by Jail, and when he wakes up, he's back to being himself and tells everyone he's sorry for what he's done. After the fight with Lick, Jail goes to see the Supreme Commander, whose name is Alexander Grigorovich. He is in charge of all the guards in Alcia and is also Jail's father, even though he wasn't of the same blood. Jail starts to ask him about Lick and how he was able to change the count on his sword by himself. Then, the Supreme Commander told Jail that the aces can change their count on their own because they were made this way during an experiment 300 years ago during the Waste War. They were all made stronger so that they would work together with the balance. Surgery was used to make this happen. He says that they are an unstoppable group of people led by Lick, who is a threat to everyone, including their own soldiers. So, after hearing what the Supreme Commander just said, Jail goes to talk to Lick about it and tries to arrest him. Nana told Jail not to listen to the commander because Lick is not the real threat and they've gotten this far by believing in him. Then she tells everyone that she is also a legendary ace and sends them back 300 years to see what really happened. She tells them that the only way for him to save his men is to try to change what happened while being teleported. They go back 300 years. Everything is very different from what they are used to. They are standing outside a school where they see Sanohara and Lick, but Sanohara calls him by his real name, which is Rihido Sakai, and Lick no longer has white hair and is younger. All of them aren't sure if it's really Lick, so they all go to the high school. Jail is surprised that the technology in this world is so much better than the technology in Osea, despite being 300 years earlier. They all find out that the world from the past was actually very modern, with electricity and other tech. They then go into the school, where a student named Duan Takatora pushes Hina. Duan hits Lin when she tries to help her, so Jail goes after him. But when he sees that he no longer has the ballot or any other power, he backs down. Duan doesn't listen when Sanohara tells him to stop fighting. Then, another student shows up and tells Duan to stop bothering them. He is called Sakai Takakazi, and Rihido is his brother. They also confirm that Rihido Sakai is still Lick because he is still attracted to Hina, just like in the other world. Suddenly, one of the school's teachers named Dallin tells them that they are now all soldiers in a war. Then, a girl named Fyrnda tells all the students that their whole nation is in danger because of a food shortage that is killing many people. After this, a man named Bodge Humerman, the Supreme Director, comes out and starts to read a speech to all the students to see who can follow directions. After part of it was read, some of the students started to laugh. Bond told them to stop laughing, but they didn't. So, the leader walked over and shot the 3 students dead. The others get scared and try to get out of the hall, but Bond tells them that this is a training exercise to see who can follow orders when things are really bad. After Bond tells Rihido to break his neck or he will kill Hina, which is another test to see how far they would go, Rihido tells him he won't do it. When everyone from the future heard this, They knew it was Lick because Lick would have said the same thing. The director tries to hurt Lick with his ammo, but it doesn't work because Lick is still standing. After that, he told them it was all a test and the director was using paintballs instead of bullets. The three students figured out that the reason he does these tests is to create a team of the strongest fighters that he can use to kill all his enemies instead of doing it himself. This is how the legendary aces came to be. Bob called it the Ace Project, and they started to test it on rats by making them more violent. Then Bob pulls out a ballot, which is an orb that came from outer space and is considered alien technology. Whoever has it will be able to do things that no other man can do, like change the laws of physics. So, Bob tells Firender to give the ballot to the rat. When we look at the rat, we see that it has gone completely crazy, has superhuman strength, and can move as fast as light. Jail was watching them experiment and gets caught, but a young Nana comes to his rescue. He then finds out from the young Nana that the Nana from the future wanted him to stop the surgery on Lick and stop the directors from making the legendary aces. She also tells him that she was the first legendary ace and that her real power is time travel, which lets her talk to her younger self from Osea. After talking to Nana, he leaves the room. A director named Alexandrov tells Jail that he knows he's not from their world. Jail tells him that he's the lieutenant from the future in a town called Osea and that he was the one who trained him to be the lieutenant. After we see that the same tests are being done on Lick and Major Bob, who also wanted to become one of the legendary 7 aces. After the experiment, Lick wakes up with white hair and red eyes, just like before. However, the Major didn't do well with the surgery, so before he dies, he gives Lick his special sword, which isn't like any other sword. Instead, it's a ballot in the shape of one that Lick can use to boost all of his powers. The students outside are with the soldiers who are threatening them, but Lick came out just in time to save them. And we can see that he has all kinds of special powers and abilities that are unlike anything they've ever seen before. They are then taken 300 years into the future, where Hina realizes that they can't change Lick's fate because he was always meant to be the legendary ace. She starts to cry and tells Lick to try to remember this moment for the next 300 years, until they meet again. They fade back into their world as Hina yells for Lick to remember her during that time. They use Lick as their own deadly weapon, and he kills many armies and enemy troops all over the world. He knows what they did to him though, and tries to fight the other races until he fights another legendary ace who turns out to be his high school friend Duin. He blames Lick for changing his ways and trying to go against them, so they fight and both use their best skills. Duin gets help from Sanohara, and Nana tells him to stop fighting Lick because he's not the one in the wrong. But Duin didn't listen and used his last combo attack on Lick. However, Lick managed to beat Duin and save Hina and the rest of his friends in the process. In the final scene we see Hina and Lick back together in the future. The end. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you soon.